Welcome back into the film room. I'm your host, Eric Turner. And in today's Cover 1 Film Room feature, we're going to dive into the film of Matt Milano. You guys have asked for it, especially our Cover 1 insiders, have asked for an evaluation, a look at how Milano has played in that 183 snaps, that 4-game sample over the last month or so. So we're going to dive in. We're going to show you some of the areas he struggled, some of the areas where he stood out, some of the old form and plays that he was making prior to his injuries, and also how he stacks up against Dorian Williams, where their production stacks up. Again, albeit a smaller sample for Milano, but what roles they play and which ones are better in those roles. And I think a lot of national media are going to be surprised when they look at the metrics and they look at the film of Dorian Williams versus Matt Milano and realize that their play on the field is a lot closer than probably most people understand or realize. So without further ado, let's jump into the film of Matt Milano. All right, let's start off with some Jets. On the snap, right here, you're going to see him work over the top of Rousseau. The Jets are initially combo blocking Rousseau so that they can soften that edge, but watch Milano move over the top of that double team. And now, does he make the tackle? No, but you see him sacrifice his body here. Everyone is doing their 111th right there, edge set. Here he is setting this edge, makes that edge that much shorter. And then you're going to see Rousseau take this gap. Bernard is already beating his block right in here. And so everyone is doing their 111th, including Milano. You heard McDermott talk about how much of a team player Milano is. This is one of those plays that you see on the field that really exhibits that. Here's a play from the Jets game where the Bills appear to be in man coverage, but they're sending a blitz, and it's a run blitz off the left side here, but the Jets run a pitch to the short side of the field. I want you to watch Milano and how he leverages this run with Von Miller off the right side here. You see them both, again, win their gaps here and try to box in the speedy running back. And so right here, you see the alley open up, and this is where, the 111th should be Dwayne Carter making the tackle here. But watch Milano defeat that block, cut back up inside, and help make the tackle with Terrell Bernard, his running mate at linebacker. So very good 111th type play from Milano here at boxing and containing, but then disengaging from that block to make the tackle on the ball. Here's some more run game film, this time against this play. So on the snap, what they're doing is executing a gap exchange. Daquan Jones fires backside, Bernard goes front side, Cole front side, and then Milano is looping over the top. This movement at the point of attack keeps Milano free and clear to make the tackle, and he ends the play right at the line of scrimmage with Ed Oliver. So he was doing his 111th on this play. The Bills put him in position to make a play, and he did against the Lions. Shoots the backside gap on the snap right here, and then Milano is free and clear to play over the top, and he does that very quickly. I love how he gets under that block of the climbing offensive lineman right here, trying to cut him off on the backside. Gets under that block, rips through the arms in the block, and then he and Ed Oliver once again meet at the running back. Again, backside pursuit down the line of scrimmage by Oliver, scraping down the line of scrimmage. And these type of run stunts are nothing new. We saw this even early on in his return right here. Dwayne Carter crashing inside. Here comes Milano over the top. Look at him scrape down the line of scrimmage, wait for that cutback, and he's there to make the tackle. Great job by Carter, spiking inside. Milano working over the top, staying clean. Taron Johnson does a great job of creating a new edge here, forcing that cutback, and as soon as that running back wants to get north and south, guess who's there to make the tackle? So you can see him, when it comes to stopping the run, he comes downhill. He's able to make plays at or near the line of scrimmage. This one's very nice. The Niners are trying to run an insert block, a lead right at Milano, as Milano's that stack linebacker. I like him in this role. Does a great job, whether he needs to use physicality or his athleticism to beat blocks. And you see him right there. As that tight end's inserting, uses physicality, takes on that block, drops those pads, and then drops the running back. This is very good processing and instincts. The type of stuff that Milano has that we're still waiting to see from Dorian. Again, Dorian's more of that run and chase guy. Milano is the athletic guy that kind of relies on his instincts. And this is one of those plays, hands down. So Niners have eye candy going across the formation. They're making it look like they're going to pitch it out here. But then you have split flow coming back this way with a tight end. And just watch Milano sense that cutback and go and find the ball. Very good processing, very good instincts by Milano on this play. The type of stuff that makes him stand out a little more over Dorian. Here's another one of those plays where I think Dorian would probably just shoot up inside right there. He'd see this open gap and want to go get the ball here. But watch what Milano does. He senses these guys getting collapsed down, so he avoids the trash, uses his hands and his lateral agility, and he's there to wrap up the running back with his teammates. Very good work at the point of attack against the run. The following play is a play that I think really what separates Dorian Williams from Matt Milano. Milano this year is making tackles against the run at an average depth of 2.2 yards. Dorian Williams, it's 4.9. So Dorian's more of a run and chase guy. When a team is trying to get to the perimeter and get to the edge, he's going to see ball, get ball, run down the line of scrimmage, but he usually makes a tackle 4 or 5 yards down the field. Now, in past years, Milano's been that havoc guy, right? Creating tackles for loss and those big plays, those impact plays, those turnovers. Here's a play where he's a stacked linebacker. He's inside the tackle box, and he's got to take on an interior offensive lineman. And he does it in the way he's always done it, eluding blocks. Look at the hand usage, the footwork to step around the block there by the center and make a tackle at the line of scrimmage on Breece Hall. Very good work in the tackle box, as I said, in avoiding blocks. There are many ways to beat blocks. Sometimes it's stack and shed. Sometimes it's using your athleticism, your ability to elude blocks and work around blocks with your hands and your feet, just like that, for the tackle. I still think that Milano's play speed and processing is a work in progress. A couple weeks ago, you're going to see just a stick concept from the tight end inside the numbers. And Milano normally is not second guessing this. Normally, he's reading the quarterback there. He's sensing that the quarterback is at the top of his drop and about to make a throw, and he's going to jump this route right here. But you can see some hesitation here. He doesn't fly underneath that, where if he did, he would have had an interception. Think back to a couple years ago when he intercepted Tua in that very same area on a very similar play. So that processing is still half a click slow inside the box, inside the numbers where things happen a little quicker. Similar concept just a couple weeks ago against the Lions. Here comes Laporta across the formation. What he's doing, he's just going to run a diagonal to the flats, and then you're just having this stick route once again inside the numbers, between the hash and the numbers. And Milano gets tunnel vision. He starts looking at Laporta going out to the flats, but that's not his job. That's not his assignment. That's Kaiir Elam's. And so he winds out just enough, and that allows the void in that zone, and Tim Patrick is able to catch the pass and get the first down. Consistency, that's what Milano has to work on. And those prior plays, you saw him struggle against that stick concept, those stick routes. But on plays like this, where he's not going to get credit for an interception, a tackle, but his team is able to get a sack because of the coverage, this should be an assist to Milano. So right here, Goff wants to hit the receiver over the middle, and Milano's hugging him closely. They're trying to high-low Bernard right here. If Bernard takes the dig route over the middle, that would open up St. Brown underneath. But because Milano's awareness, his eyes on the quarterback, as you'll see, watch it from the end zone angle. Just watch Milano's play here. Eyes on the quarterback. He's able to keep routes in his peripheral. He sees where Goff's eyes are. Goff is looking this way. He's telling a story. And he hugs close to the hash, helps take away this wide receiver right there, deters this throw, right? And you can see now Bernard trusts that Milano's going to be there. And now he can help take away that dig route in behind him, that high-low over the middle of the field against these two high safety structures, which the Bills love to play. Having a guy like Milano who is adept and comfortable in zone coverage and is just working on his play speed now, just like this. These are the type of plays that aren't going to show up in the box score for Matt Milano, but they are. Here's another one of those plays that just shows off his discipline and his recognition. Watch as the Lions run this play action shot call with the Bills in cover 3. So you have 3 deep defenders right here and then 4 underneath, right? So 3 deep, 4 underneath, cover 3, basic cover 3. The Lions are running a post route here, and then running this dig across the field or crossing route. Kyer Elam does a great job of overlapping here to take that away. But watch Milano right here. He stays home instead of just carrying down the field, because he saw Tim Patrick come across the formation. He saw him come across the formation right there and hang out. So instead of just gaining depth, he is aware, he is disciplined in zone coverage here as the outlet, and it's not there. Very good awareness by Milano here in the box. Here comes Patrick across the formation. Goff's looking down the field, looking for the chunk play down the field off of play action. That's their bread and butter. Nothing there. Well, who's the check down? The wide receiver. Did they forget about him? No. Matt Milano didn't. He stays home, helps take him away. Rousseau flushes him outside the pocket. Milano's there to take it away on the backside for the incompletion. So there's no doubt that Milano isn't quite to where he was, his old form when it came to coverage or against the run for that matter. And you can see some of these issues early on in Dorian's career as well. And I think that's the biggest difference between Dorian and Milano. And that's zone coverage and coverage overall. So Bills are dropping into cover 3 here, and you'd like to see Dorian just drive on this route. It's just a 3-level passing concept from the Patriots. As Bishop becomes a flats defender, he's going out to the flats because they have Gibson going out there. And you want to see Dorian not just stick on his landmark. That's not the type of defense the Bills play. They want you to trust your eyes. They see this curl route, this spot route by this wide receiver. Dorian sees it. You want to see him jump that. Again, if you're going to make mistakes, make them playing fast and physical. That's what the Bills want. It's a vision-based zone system. They want Dorian to trigger on that. You see him, look at the receiver, look at the quarterback, look at the receiver, and then just not trigger on it. Cole almost made the play. Cole Bishop almost made the play, but the Bills want Dorian to trust his eyes. See ball, get ball. You feel like the quarterback's setting up to throw to that spot route, or even to the flats for that matter. Go get the ball. Go attack that wide receiver on the numbers. Deter that throw in zone coverage. The other thing that comes up with him is the top of routes in zone coverage. Here he is, hook to curl defender, too high safety structure here. Hunter Henry does a good job of pushing off at the top of that route, but it's the issue that we see a bunch from Dorian, just dropping the zone coverage, the processing of routes and route concepts, and then marrying that with the spatial awareness of, okay, where's this guy breaking to at the top of the route? What is he going to do at the top of the route? Is he going to use speed? Is he going to use a rocker step? Is he going to use his hands like tight ends love to in the low red zone? Just like the tight end does there to separate for the touchdown. Dorian has allowed 4 touchdowns this year. That was one of them. And again, it comes back to a lot of times his lack of zone awareness, and he can be easily fooled. Here's one, same thing. It's cover 3. Here are your 4 underneath defenders, right? There's no need for him to start drifting this way. But he does, and guess what? That opens up Tyreek Hill right behind him. And he was essentially the first read on this play. It's a bang-bang play. This should not happen. You got to have discipline. There's no need to drift to the middle of the field here. He's just not completely aware or completely comfortable in space, in zone, in these coverages. Look at it from the end zone angle. It's night and day. And this happens to a lot of linebackers, not just in the Bill system, especially early on when guys like Dorian, young players that come from defenses that aren't very complex, that don't necessarily teach the type of vision, technique, and things along those lines when it comes to zone coverage, and the Bills play a lot of it. He just doesn't quite have the instincts yet. I'm super happy with how he's played this year in all facets, and it's been great reps for him, but he's not quite there when it comes to awareness in zone coverage, which we know is the Bills' bread and butter. Here's another example of Dorian's struggle at the top of route. This time it's man coverage. He's matched up with a tight end, which, as the second linebacker in the Bills' nickel defense, you're going to get matched up with tight ends a bunch, and running backs for that matter. Very good physicality at the line of scrimmage, but then you see the tight end, Hooper, again, create separation. That is the name of the game when you're talking playing against tight ends. and matching up as a linebacker with tight ends in the NFL. You got to be able to feel and sense the top of the route and fight physicality at the top of the route as well, and not let tight ends separate. Here's another one. The field. It's a very tough play to cover, a very tough player to cover, throw, and not get rid of it. And that put Dorian in a tough spot. But we saw Milano have issues with this against Davante Adams. Adams is all the way over here. He does the same thing, kind of runs this slide route to the top of the screen. Matt Milano diagnosing run to pass, right? Gets sucked into the line of scrimmage. Here comes missed tackles. We're seeing him against the run as well. Here he is against the Rams when he returned to the lineup. This one was one of the ugliest ones we've seen since Lamar Jackson made this move on him. Just a whiff on the running back there, and you can see the running back get to the next level. Trigger, beautiful. That's what you want, right? When I see him hug that corner of these blocks right here and go make the tackle on the big running back of the Jets. But as he lunges, he barely affects that guy, and he misses the tackle. Luckily, Bernard, way too many missed tackles. He has 8 overall. That's a 33.3% missed tackle rate. He's had these kind of issues for years, missing tackles, but usually it's in the like 12%, 14, 15% range. 33% is astronomical, and you can't have that. Boundary as another defender, right? Play inside out. But you see him come in high, doesn't break down properly, doesn't use that sideline as a defender, as help, and Montgomery makes Milano miss. Especially if you're not making the havoc plays that we're used to from Milano. Those one thing that Dorian has the upper hand on when it comes to Milano versus Dorian. His tackling is phenomenal, whether we're talking run or pass. Milano needs to tighten that up going into the playoffs, or else they will take him out of lineup, especially when they're playing teams that want to come downhill right at the Bills. Here's a missed tackle out in space, and I know the conditions are awful, but you see him slow to process here, and this is a really nice play design, so I can understand why the processing was tough to decipher. But you can see the running back right there has Milano out leveraged, but Milano has a chance to make that tackle. So with all of that said, Milano had a chance to make the tackle in open space. He doesn't, and the Niners get 6 points on the board. I do think Dorian and Milano are a zoner man. On the backside of this play, the Bills are comfortable with Milano being locked up with Gibbs. You can see Laporta getting bracketed by Elam and Cole Bishop, and they're comfortable with having Milano and kind of work through some of those issues and some of those struggles and how teams want to attack him with tight ends and running backs. We saw this one from earlier in the year. Dorian gets dusted by Justice Hill for the touchdown. Once again, look, he's on the backside here, right? Got a split out here, and then the running back, and essentially a double move. Dorian bites, and it's an easy touchdown against the Ravens. So I think that's really the difference. I think it's in coverage. I like the physicality that Dorian brings in the run game. Watch him here. Watch him trigger. Watch him blow this up. Kind of plays like with a reckless abandon when it comes to the run. He's physical. He wants to play downhill. He wants to throw his body around when it comes to defending the run. Here against the Patriots again, just blowing this play up in the backfield, disrupting Gibson on his track. That's the type of energy he brings and juice he brings. He's a very athletic and physical player at times, especially if we're talking against the run. With all of that said, I think Dorian Williams' experience this year was phenomenal for his future, and maybe even gave the Bills a better idea on where they should stand after the season with Milano. But I think they lean on Milano going into the playoffs. He probably plays a few drives in the final regular season game next week. But I think they just trust him more in coverage. I think that's the biggest difference. I think they're okay with some of the missed tackle stuff. Of course, they want to minimize that, because I do think Dorian is much better in that department. And when he tackles, he runs through guys, and he brings a different sort of physicality. But I think they like the athleticism against the pass. And Milano's athleticism and awareness and experience in the system, but also in coverage, where we're talking zone or man. I think he's just well versed in that and how opposing offenses want to attack the coverage itself or him as a defender, whether he's in zone or man. So I think they do lean on Milano going forward, but I will admit, after watching all the film from the season, and again, it's only a 4-game sample, it's 183 snaps overall for Milano. I will say that the two are closer than probably what a lot of people, especially if you're talking national media that don't watch this team closely every week, I do think it's closer than what they would believe. And so I think as they start to dive into some of the film and the metrics and advanced stats, I think they'll realize that Dorian is actually a very good defender as well, but that the Bills typically tend to trust the veteran player, the guys with experience, guys that are highly paid at that linebacker position, guys that a position that they lean on to be playmakers. And I think Milano will get there as the season progresses, especially in the playoffs. And in the end, I think all Bills fans expect opposing offenses to play heavy personnel. So you know what? Who do you think is going to be on the field? It's going to be Dorian and Milano. You're going to have 3 linebacker sets in the playoffs. I think that's what we should expect as fans and as analysts. I think opposing offenses are going to try to play downhill. They're going to try to control the clock and the tempo of the play so that Josh doesn't get the ball. And so I think there are going to be a lot of personnel groupings and matchups from game to game in the playoffs that require both of these guys to be on the field. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed that breakdown. If you did, please smash that like button, leave me a comment in the comment section, and subscribe to the Cover One YouTube channel. I'm Eric Turner, owner of Cover One, host of the Film Room, and until the next breakdown, go Bills.